So, when Einstein came up with his theory, E equals mc squared, he had actually studied philosophy broadly, including the Hindu philosophy, from which some have written that he was able to borrow liberally from in terms of his ideas with respect to the laws of conservation of matter. Because if you look at the Hindu philosophy, the concept of Jnanam, Shakti, and Tapasya, they really speak of we are the energy of the stars, and the energy of the stars is made us. So that interchangeability between matter and spirit is recognized as a physical principle and as a spiritual principle as well. And so there is no separation then of spirit and matter. That spirit descends to sanctify matter, matter ascends to become spirit. I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about something much deeper. I'm talking about a consciousness and awareness of the order of things, about the interpenetration of matter and spirit, about really the sanctification of the material world, and that it is good, that it is holy. That's the implicant state. That's the intention if we have it. And when you see the unity of matter and spirit, you can understand why the human genome theory determined that we're all 99.9% made of the same stuff. There's an underlying unity in everything. And, of course, our unity is with the natural world. We learned from the Romantic poets. Wordsworth talked about, in his ode on Intimations of Immortality, talks about the glory of the flower. And in that, in a single flower, being able to comprehend the exquisite beauty of nature and our connection to that natural world. There is a design in that natural world that, like a fractal, reflects the designs in all of human nature, in all of our experience. If it was the music of the spheres, it was made into a score with color and majesty. The poet, James Russell Lowell, in his poem about the month of June, talked about the expressive power of nature that is immanent in everything. He spoke of every piece of earth, or every clod feels a stir of might, an instinct within it that reaches and towers, and groping blindly above it for light, climbs to a soul in grass and flowers. The soul of the world in which we are contained is a place of life and energy and beauty. And if you think of another poet, Keats, what did he say? He said that beauty is truth. Think of our inheritance. That we have been given a world where there is, yes, we understand the problems of the world, but there's something innate in the world, there's something innate in life that is so beautiful, and that is our truth. And it connects us to joy. And that we're, contrary to what Matthew Arnold wrote in understanding the grim experiences of World War I, when he said, "Love, let us be true to one another, for this world before us has neither hope nor joy nor certitude nor flight from pain, and we are here in a darkling plain." swept by confused alarm and struggle and flight were ignorant armies, classic Nike. That is a reality, but it is not our inheritance. It's part of what man creates, but it is not and need not be fundamental to who we are. We learn that from spiritual principles that we are our brother and sister's keeper, but we go beyond that to a new understanding which says there is no separation between ourselves and our brothers and sisters, that we're one, that we are our brothers, we are our sisters, we are our neighbors. There is no other. The other is a construct of a subject-object orientation that has alienated us from some deeper meaning about who we are. And so, when we speak of we, then, there is no separation of time and space. The founders understood that when they talked about we the people. The fate of the individual and the group is the same. That's an underlying meaning of the words e pluribus unum. The first motto of the United States, out of many we are one. The paradox of singularity and multiplicity. The fact of the matter is that we have the ability to function as a group. We can retain our individual integrity, but understanding that the choices that we make, as we choose, so chooses the world. But then we see the schism. The schism that is visited upon us by dichotomized thinking. The us versus them, whoever they are. The rich versus poor, black versus white. Communism versus democracy. You can make a catalog of all the us versus them. And I believe that that type of thinking derives from and was accelerated by the splitting of the atom, which produced a split in the material world, and which helped to perpetuate this dichotomous thinking. And so we're gripped by these misunderstandings. A misunderstanding of the nature of the material world. You would think when you see people fight over budgets that the material world keeps shrinking. But astrophysicists know that it's expanding at a tremendous rate. You would think that we're running out of money all the time and we're on the verge of a new austerity, but the truth of the matter is the Constitution under Article 1, Section 8 makes it abundantly clear that we do have the power to coin and create money to meet the needs of the country. And not just forfeit it to the Federal Reserve, who can use it for the private banks and accelerate the wealth of the nation upwards. That doesn't have to happen. We're told we're running out of energy. What? Well, you know, I mean, think about it. Here's the headlines from the weekend edition, not of Saturday Night Live, but of the Investors Business Daily. Here's the headline. Petroleum exports soar to a new high in economic boost. Cheaper oil, natural gas, okay? Petroleum exports rose 9% versus November to a record 11.6 billion, up 1,056% from December 1999. Hydraulic fracking also has unlocked more natural gas. And cheap oil and natural gas will benefit a variety of other energy-intensive sectors. There's talk here, I'm not making this up. One of the things they're celebrating is the possibility of reshoring toilet manufacturing, which requires a lot of heat to make ceramics. Well, you know, I mean, we all use those things and we make them in the United States, but it's hardly a reason to stay with the same energy policies. The International Energy Agency is predicting fracking will help the U.S. become the world's top oil producer in the next several years. The International Energy Agency sees U.S. oil production of 10 million barrels per day in 2015, growing to 11.1 million in 2020. So for a while, we'll be outstripping production that Saudi Arabia has. Now, what's the relevance of that? Well, it's obvious. We are wedded to forms of energy which are creating disunity in the world by creating wealth, accelerating into the hands of the few. And what's that wealth? It's not only the physical monetary wealth, but it's also the wealth of the natural world. The natural world is being cartelized. Our air, our water, our land, the pristineness, the purity of it is being sacrificed. What we own, our common heritage, the common wealth of the nation, is being cartelized to create wealth for a few at the expense of the many. We're told we don't have any other choices. If that kind of idea was around 100 years ago, we'd still be riding around on horses, which may not be a bad idea. But it belies the fact that there is a technological evolution that's always occurring. And we know it is occurring in many areas of alternative energy, but we also know that those areas are constantly under attack by the very industries that are profiting from the spoliation of our air, our water, and our land. So we have a misunderstanding of the nature of the material world, and a misunderstanding of the nature of power. The truth is that as citizens with a common heritage, with a common planet, there must be power for all, for none. Each one of us has this expressive power that the poet talked about, and this instinct within us that reaches and towers. And we also have a common claim to the common heritage of a common planet. And yet, because there's a misunderstanding of the nature of power, power has become more and more identified with material wealth and with arms. If you don't have arms, you're not powerful. If you don't have a nuclear weapon, you're not powerful. If you don't have a lot of money and have a central bank, you're not powerful. Where did we get these ideas? How did these ideas come to us? Why would we want to swallow whole the elephant? This is a challenge about how we come to see the world as we see it. Because I believe that we're not victims of the world that we see. We become victims of the way we see the world. That our existence is extremely co-creative. That we have such creative power that we can recreate the world as long as we understand the power of our common effort and our cooperation. Now, so because of this misunderstanding of the nature of the material world, misunderstanding of the application of power, we have a misapplication of technology. The development of nuclear technology, the weaponization of nuclear technology, the drilling, the mining, the fracking, all about extraction and exploitation, causing the planet to suffer, causing human beings' health to be ruined, as if this is the only choice we have. So what happens? So we become alienated from our very Mother Earth. The preconditions of life, which are so essential for supporting the maintenance of life on the planet, are being eroded because we are told that we must accept this as the only path that we can take forward. And this dichotomous thinking, this separation from nature, can only breed aggression and hate, and it does. And so we lose control under such circumstances. The technology is out of control, and it's a loss of self-control. It's what the poet Yeats wrote about when he, in his poem, The Second Coming, turning and turning in a widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. All things fall apart, the center cannot hold. The center's not holding right now because we have a misunderstanding of the nature of the material world, a misunderstanding of the use of power and a misunderstanding of our ability to be able to work in harmony with the planet and the ecosystems so that we're not ruining it, we can actually repair it and work with it and move forward. But we're not doing that. 60 years ago, the then new head of the United Nations, Dag Hammarskjöld, talked about how it's our responsibility to be masters of the world and history and not be mastered by it. He was really talking about the ability of human beings to be able to be captains of their own fate. Marshall McLuhan, in his writings, talks about the problem when technology is out of control. It goes, instead of a person being on, technology being a saddle that you put on a horse and you ride, the saddle gets put on us. Think about that. The saddle, this is what McLuhan said, the saddle gets put on us. Alfred North Whitehead said, the greatest technological developments in society are processes that all but destroy the society in which they occur. So this is thinking that is not particularly new, but I'm here to tell you that we are heirs and heiresses of philosophy that can push back. That can say that we reject this anatomy of human destructiveness, which Eric Fromm so easily pointed out decades ago, as being something that we accept as a matter of human nature. No, human nature has evolutionary potential. We can be more than we are and better than we are. But it's something that we have to do. We are conscious co-creators of our own existence. And we have this sense of our ability to go way beyond who we are. To be more than we are and better than we are. Not quantitatively, but qualitatively. And that is about a transformation in consciousness. It's the integration of spirit, of nature, of the physical world, of our personal world. But what happens? We miss that, and so we move towards destruction. If you look at the whole idea of destruction of, let's say, the destruction of an atom bomb, splitting of the atom, the forces that impinge on that atom, the fission or fusion process that produces an explosion, you see forces coming in and matter gone, disintegration. And we're left with a void. The center does not hold. The center particularly can't hold if you blow it up. Fundamental rule of physics. So